What's up everybody, back with another Myth Rebirth video, and in this one I'll go over all the codes that I know of and 3 tips that will help you when starting out because I definitely made some mistakes I want you to avoid. Let's get it. So starting off with the codes, this list may eventually have some that expired, or of course more that get added depending on when you watch this video, but as of right now, if you go to your profile, then click settings, redeem code, here is the list. First we have is UltimateWeek, seen right here on the screen. Next we have is REALBEGIN. Next is UltimateMyth. Next is MythforDC. Next is MythforFB. Next is UR888, and finally UR999. Now these are case sensitive, so you need to make sure you have the upper and lowercase letters accordingly. This will also be in the video description for easier copying. If there are any codes I missed, please leave a comment so others can benefit. So getting into the 3 tips I can give you that I wish I knew starting out, I am on day 10 as you can see from my profile here, so I am still new, but for the most part, all of these idle gachas use similar templates. So tip number 1, spending gold wisely. The first thing, avoid using your gold or easier to understand diamonds, as most games call it, on advanced summons. So there will be a ranking event in your first week seen here with 3 different phases. Now these milestone rewards are great, don't get me wrong, you are gaining back summons, resources, and each phase has a grand prize. But if you are a free to play, you need to not fall into these traps. There's no reason to waste your gold on these advanced summons and instead just gather up all those summon tickets from the events, progression, achievements, gift codes, etc. Advanced summons and faction summons both count, and I'm assuming the Ascension Hall summons do as well, but I could be wrong as I haven't been keeping track of this. You are going to want to save this gold for your Realms Tower because the main tower has Realms deals, and honestly, these are all very good value, specifically looking at the purple rank up resource. This is needed to advance your leader to push past specific levels so your team can get stronger. The deal also includes other resources like gold, XP, some have gears, some have summons, some even have SR selection cards like this one right here. So these do increase in cost as you progress through the main tower levels, but honestly, they hold true to their value because if you go to the merchant, the values you're seeing here, even with the discount, 400 gold for 500, or you can get lucky with the shop in the Netherworld, which I think is 500 gold for 1000, but these are all RNG based, meaning if and when they do show up. So going back to the permanent offers, in the Realm Tower, looking at this floor 281, it is going to give you 3300 purple rank up stones, so 3300 divided by 500, from the merchant deal I just showed you, we can just do 3000 for easier calculation. You're going to be looking at a difference of 2400 gold from the merchant for 3000 purple rank up stones, or 2400 gold, the same amount, from here for not only 3300 purple rank up stones, but you're also getting other resources as well. And when your server does unlock faction towers, give me a second, I'm just going to switch over to my free to play account. Each faction has its own faction deals, so looking at the main screen here, that's 6 different faction shops. Now, not every single one of these are as appealing, but the majority are definitely good. Like looking at this floor 31, it gives you 10 Ascension Pearls. If you go to the summons, 10 summons here is going to cost you 5,000 gold. For 3,600, you're already saving a lot, plus you're getting further resources. Then there's going to be another event that pops up after your first week. It's going to be for the Demon Hu Yi. Can't remember if I'm pronouncing that name right, most likely wrong, but it's for the summons, which if you're free to play, you can only do 40 summons a day with gold, so that's going to total 10,000 gold a day, as it's 2,500 for 10. And I'm assuming this type of summon event is reoccurring, like maybe another time a different demon or god is going to show up. The point I'm trying to say here is for sure don't spend gold on advanced summons, and look out for these offers I've showed you because this game does a good job at giving you some good value. Tip number 2 is going to be for the SR hero Wukong. All in on this hero starting out. There will be multiple ways to get copies of him, whether you're free to play or spending. As a spender, there is the newbie pack that gives a copy, and once you buy this, another pops up, and another, and I think another, further giving you more copies and resources to skyrocket your progression. I think on my spender account, I bought 3 or 4 versions of this offer. Wukong is very strong. Honestly, any game with the Wukong lately that I've been trying out, he is most likely a strong or even broken hero. The reason is he does a double AoE hit off his ultimate, very easy clearing in all game modes. He becomes CC immune, increases his HP, attack, hit rate, then does his first multi-hit to all front row enemies, then the second multi for all enemies plus adds a fire eye effect. Now one thing this game has is lackluster effect information. I wish you could just click this text right here, but you can't. Even scrolling down, it says something about really popular, but this doesn't sound like the fire eye effect. And who is Red Boy? Is Wukong Red Boy? I have no idea. Where is this Red Boy? Anyways, moving on from here, for his passive Fire Root, if you pair him with heroes who can inflict the rip damage effect, he benefits off this and deals true damage. To see what heroes do this, every time you click on a hero's profile, it gives you 3 sets of text information regarding the hero. So for example, right here, the monster faction hero White Tiger has damage, AoE, and rip. This is what I've been basing it off of. You can see here on the ultimate applies the rip status. And finally, his Fate Shield skill, at the start of the battle, all heroes gain an unremovable shield. Like, that's pretty good, which helps them receive less damage off that initial first enemy turn. Pretty much every player I think will use him as their starter. He really makes your early game progression a breeze. That's why I would suggest focusing your faction summons on the monster faction and selecting him as your 50 summon pity. This resets, by the way, once it's reached with no cooldown. The faction also has a really good DPSer Princess Fan. Healer Nuwa, I specifically use her for the revive off her ultimate, but she also gives an attack buff and her heals are pretty good. So you can see right here on her ultimate, if a hero dies with the blessing status, which is applied for 3 turns off this skill, they're instantly revived. The issue here is it's all about placement, because you can read here the hero who gets the blessing is the one who acts after Nuwa. So because I typically want my Wukong to ult first, this is not always easy to get aligned properly, and sometimes requires me to think of the attack order based off her second ultimate, because I don't always want to put her in the 5th spot. And finally, tip number 3, it's going to be hero invest smartly. What I mean by this is do not overinvest into too many heroes in the same faction. The reason being is once you reach your hero of 10 stars, you can actually further take them to 15, but it's a big food investment. The actual process is to become a saint. You can see each successful advancement unlocks an origin element, granting stat buffs, but the final one is going to be reaching sainthood, advances a skill. So for Wukong, the Fire Shield, which honestly isn't all that crazy, but you can see for 11 stars, I gain crit damage, def, and pen. 12 star is block and hit increase. 13 star is crit and hit increase. 14 star crit res and crit damage increase. And finally 15 is that skill I mentioned increase. But the point is, I would suggest to focus only on 2 heroes from each regular faction and probably only 1 demon/god if you are free to play, because when you get to this point in hero advancement, it is quite pricey. I know there is faction towers, but if you have 2 invested heroes from each faction, you will be able to progress decently until you're ready to work on, say, a 3rd, 4th, etc. Now, there is a hero rollback system in this game. If you go to your roster, then click a hero, you're going to see at the top rollback. Now, it doesn't revert them fully. As you can see, I'll still have some copies here. It depends what star level you had to begin with. For this example, it requires 40 Brilliant Lotus. I'm going to be honest, I still haven't figured out where and how you get these. If you know, leave a comment down below. Most likely they're in an in-game offer somewhere, or maybe there's some kind of shop I can get them for. So right now, I'm just hoping I'm making the right investment choices. That's all I have right now. Maybe I'll feel comfortable making that early hero tier list soon, but leave a comment down below some of your favorite heroes. And as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.